Welcome, everyone, to the house that Rockney built, Notre Dame Stadium, underneath the watchful eye of Touchdown Jesus, the home of the Fighting Irish. We're really looking forward to this matchup. You've got a team that's made its way into the top 25, now trying to pass an all-important road test. As we'll see a team coming off a crucial bye week, the Miami Hurricanes, taking on the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. 48 Sports College Football, I'm Reese Davis, joined here in the booth by David Pollack and Jesse Palmer. And guys, let's get this thing started. Notre Dame lining up to kick off and get this one started. Coming out with it, it's Roach. Pulled down at the 18, and the decision to bring it out of the end zone was not a good one. So Miami's offense takes the field for the first time today. And here comes this quarterback. When he takes the field, he brings a certain swagger and charisma out there that not only the entire team, the entire stadium seems to feed off of.
You can feel it. It's different. It's special. Guys like this don't come around very often, but he makes the whole team better, but the belief is strong because he continues to make plays and be there for his team every time they need it.
Sometimes people say, if you're good enough, what's the big deal about going on the road? Well, if you're not careful, you might find out in a spot like this one, guys.
Yeah, no doubt about it. This is a hostile environment, and you know you're going to be getting the opponent's A-game for this one. They've circled this one all off-season, so they better be ready to bring it today, David.
And the hardest thing to do in college football is to go on the road. Everything about it changes, and you want to shut this crowd up early. You don't want to give them belief, because if it starts to build throughout the game, look out.
Nowhere to run on that one. He loses 4 on the carry. Makes the grab over the middle. And they bring him down quickly, but a good gain there. This crowd bringing the energy and noise early. Quarterback adapting. He's going to take off. They finally make the stop, but the big run is plenty to move those sticks for the first down. And the Canes have their offense in high gear. From the gun, they'll try the middle. That's what you expect from a senior. Don't give them any extra yards. Great tackle there. Using his legs, it's Allen. And he has a solid gain before the defense bottles him up. 3rd and short from the 49. Is this 4-down territory? From the gun, wants to pass. He's got it. And he's knocked down immediately, but not before he moves the chains. Man down on the play as the officials take a break to let him be checked out. And the Hurricanes have it with a 1st and 10. Looking to move it through the air. Got his man quickly. They make the stop after the catch, and still some work to do to pick up that 1st down. And now on 2nd down for this offense. He's looking to throw. Fires to the right. Got his man. They get him down, but this offense is set up 1st and goal from the 9. These fans trying to be like a 12th man on defense and help them get a stop. He's dropped behind the line of scrimmage. That'll be a loss of 3. Defense rolls up deep in its own end on that last play. Now a 2nd and long coming. The run up the middle, trying to steamroll his way in. He's knocked down in the backfield. He'll lose a couple. So loud it's rattling your fillings on 3rd and goal. He wants it all. And it'll be intercepted in the end zone.
This quarterback was having success throwing on the opening drive of the game, in large part because it's a lot harder to throw on 3rd down when the defense is expecting it, like you saw right there. They were ready. Had a really good coverage call to get the INT.
First down for this offense. On the run, it's Love. Makes one man miss.
Well, it's plays like that that'll help this offense stay in rhythm all game long. If you can have that kind of success on first down running the football, it just opens up your entire playbook moving forward.
He stopped after getting a yard out to the 30. This is where you make the money on the drive. Ball at the 30, it's 3rd and short. They'll try to pick it up on the ground. And I don't think he got it. The defense stands tall on 3rd and inches. Notre Dame lining up to punt it away. The punter going to get his first work of the afternoon. Makes a move. Puts him in the spin cycle. The solid return there offsets some of the punt yardage and really sets up this offense nicely. And here comes that Miami offense back onto the field. Leaves it with the running back. And a nice run there before the defense finally makes the stop. Got 8 on first down, now looking at a 2nd and 2. Give to the running back. They knock him down at the 40, but he picks up 5, and it'll be enough for a first down. Here's this offense with a fresh set of downs. Trying to find his man on first down. And it's incomplete. If you're going to take a hit like that, you might as well hang on to the ball. 2nd and 10 after the previous play. He's looking to throw. That one never had a chance. Incomplete. Better find the earplugs. Here comes the noise, backing this defense on 3rd down. The snap sets up the throw. They've got the screen set up. And maybe he'll get back to the line of scrimmage, but no more than that. The Canes will send out the punt unit. He ought to be able to use this first punt to pin him deep.
Personal foul. Roughing the kicker. Defense.
The officials offer the deal, and the coach accepts it. They will take the penalty. They'll give it to the back. He stopped after a 1-yard pickup at the 25. Didn't get much on first down. It's 2nd and 9. He's looking to throw. He finds his man. They stop him almost immediately. Short gain there, and still a little ground covered. Pick up the first. Now the play fake. Coming after him. The quarterback scrambled around, but the defense able to scramble him and turn it into a sack.
And that's a great job by this defense. You don't care about yards anymore. Yards are arbitrary. Let them drive down the field, so be it. You want to keep touchdowns off the board, and they might have just done that with a sack right there.
They'll try to get something out of this drive and kick the field goal here on 4th down. The holder will kneel down at the 29, making it a 39-yard attempt. Never a doubt. And the first points of the day come on that field goal. So they're lining up to kick it off after that last drive. Put a 3-spot on the board, and now the defense will try to shut them down. On the run from inside his own 5. They make the stop, and that's how the first quarter will end. We've reached the end of the quarter, and Miami is on top. 1 period in the books, and let's take a look at the stats. They've swapped ends of the field, and we're ready to go in the second. Here come the Irish, back on offense. The last time we saw this offense, we had to look quick. It was a 3-and-out, Jesse.
They just had no rhythm in that last drive. So someone's going to have to step up and make a play, David, and get this thing going.
Yeah, let's find some juice. Find your guy. Find those plays that you know you can run inside out, forward, backwards. Get some first downs. Get some positive momentum.
He'll get it up to about the 32-yard line before he stopped, and it'll be first down. This time they'll go to the running game. Great pickup as they'll keep this drive moving, and they've got it at the 45. Notre Dame ready to go with another first down. He's looking to throw it. Good quickness to grab it off the deflection. A quick tackle made, but he's got plenty for the first down. Power football with the run. And they'll finally get him down after a terrific pickup. With a first down, they'll snap it from the 32. Quick handoff. At the 20, he's got space. He showed it all there. A little elusiveness, a little power, and he's got the first down. Notre Dame lines up quickly. Now from inside the red zone. Looking down the middle. Fires into traffic. It's picked off. And he's wrapped up after a solid return on the pick.
Man, that is just great awareness by the big fella up front defensively. He did a good job just reading the quarterback's eyes. He knew where he was going with the football, and he's like, wait, these interceptions, they're not just for the little fast guys. Us big guys can get it done too.
Here comes the Hurricane offense looking to gather a little more strength. They kicked a field goal on the last drive, Jesse. They've got the lead. Don't make a dumb mistake, but maintain your aggressive play calling.
Yeah, no doubt. And I think it's the play caller right now just taking a look at that script he's got in front of him and finding out where are my playmakers, who can we take advantage of on this defense to get a touchdown here, Dave.
Fires into traffic, intercepted. A return there would have just been icing on the cake. They'll just have to settle for the cake at the 23.
QBs have to understand, when I'm throwing against zones, I got to manipulate guys with my eyes. I might have to look one direction to create an opening to throw that ball or zip that ball in. I got to use touch. It's really hard when all eyes are on me, and you can tell the quarterback was not ready and did not make a good throw.
Offense set on first down. Trying to make that rush think on the draw play here. They're there to stop him at the 21 after a pickup of 2. Picked up 2 yards on that last one. They need 8 on second down. Looking for a crease. It's locked. They'll give him maybe 1 on the play. It's down to the 20. Already in field goal range, but now trying to convert this 3rd and long from the 20. Trying to get to it. Here comes the rush, and they've got him wrapped up at the 28.
And listen, the quarterback drops back, and he's going through his progressions. We see zone, but just couldn't do anything about it. This defensive line, this pressure, getting to the quarterback, getting him on the ground.
So they'll send out the field goal unit. And he's got to find the right combination of distance and accuracy from the right hash and 45 yards out. Oh, he missed it. No good. And after the miss, they're still down by a field goal.
Miami, 3. Notre Dame, 0.
And here comes that Miami offense back onto the field. They've been pretty much stifled on offense so far, David, only able to muster 3 points in their previous 3 drives.
And you got to find a way to open this up and create some explosive plays. The passing game is obviously the easiest way. Jesse, put more speed on the field, find those guys down the field.
Well, you know they're frustrated, too, because they felt like there were some matchups they could take advantage of to get some points on the board early. In this one, they just haven't been able to connect on those opportunities. But I like David's idea. Maybe move some guys around and see if you can create some better one-on-one matchups.
We've reached the 2-minute warning, and we'll see if the offense can build on this lead before the break. Going up top on first down. He makes the connection. He's run out of bounds, but not before turning in a big pickup and moving the sticks for a first down. He's going to pass. He tosses one high and deep down the left side. And he strides his way into the end zone. Touchdown, Canes!
Number 5.
And, man, is that perfect timing. You can tell quarterback drops back. He sees his guy, and he knows he's open. But watch the throw. Deep down the field, Palmer, right in the bread basket. Nice play, nice pitch and catch.
He did a nice job at getting it up in the air early and allowing his guy to run under the football, locate it, and then make a tough grab. That is the definition of an explosive play.
They'll try to tack one more on their score. And the extra point will tack another one onto this lead. We check in with Kevin Connors. What's going on, Kevin?
All right, guys, a little update on what else is happening in college football this weekend. Penn State is ahead early at Happy Valley, but that's not exactly Saquon out there. This game is a long way from being over. They're up by 6 over Buffalo. We've got our eye on this one and everything else going on throughout the day. Guys?
Thanks for the update on that one, Kevin. Let us know when it goes final.
How nice is it as a defense when you can drop 7 guys into coverage, only rush 4, and still get home? That makes you feel good if you're the D coordinator.
Let's see if they play it conservatively and try to get some of the yardage back on 2nd and long from the 13. Pulls it in. It's Love. Crosses the 30. He's got away. And he's running in the open. The 20. And he'll take it all the way. They couldn't bring him down. Touchdown, Irish.
Man, how hard is it to defend when you have a weapon like this at running back that can play wide receiver? You can design ways to get the football in his hand. Palmer, once you get it in his hands, he'll do the rest.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, and oftentimes those are easier throws for quarterbacks. And these running backs, they're just naturally so good when they have the football out in space. Their vision, their creativity, their ability to make people miss. And this guy showed you right there, a difficult guy to stop now if you're this defense moving forward.
Ready to try the point after. And it's up and good as they draw just a touch closer. About to kick it off after punching it in for the touchdown. And he takes this from inside the 5. Really disciplined job by the coverage unit to get down there and make the stop at the 19. Here comes the Hurricane offense looking to gather a little more strength. Jesse looking to take it down the field for back-to-back touchdowns.
I think it's really important for them moving forward, too, to have a lot of bounce, right? You want to be able to keep this defense guessing, Paul.
Yeah, and you got me searching for answers after that last drive. You stack another drive on top of this, their defense's heads are going to be spinning all over the place.
The clock will stop with this timeout from the offense. They'll get a chance to regroup on the sideline. They'll line up for a 2nd down play. He's looking to throw. And that is interception number 3 on the day. Didn't get a ton on the return, but the most important thing, he got the ball, and they've got it at the 48. Notre Dame has the ball and ready to get moving. They put it in the end zone the last time they had it, and now an opportunity to really take control of this game.
You can feel...
And they got him. He'll get him down for the sack. A timeout is called as this offense tries to find a way to get more points on the board before the half. Looking to throw on 2nd down. And the ball comes out. What a disastrous play. A defense scoops it up, and they're bringing it back. And they'll drag him down after a good return.
Those are hard for offensive linemen when they get beat, and you're going, no, look out for your blind side, watch out. But great job rushing the quarterback, getting him on the ground, and getting the football out. A little extra bonus. Nice job by the defense getting nasty.
They'll throw it on 1st down. Fires to the end zone. And it is another interception. Just a terrible struggle for this quarterback. And they'll drag him down after a good return on the interception.
You got to be sharp in the red zone. You can't turn the football over in the red zone. You got to be crisp. You got to be on time. You can tell the QB wasn't on time. The defender made him pay. Nice interception, stealing points now off the boot.
Here come the Irish back on offense. This late in the half, you're behind. You'd love to create something before the break to build momentum, Jesse.
You've also had some miscues on offense, a big part of why you're losing the game right now. I'd take it into halftime, make my adjustments, and come out ready in the second half.
Yeah, I'm going to take it into halftime too, Paul. But I'm trying to put some points up right here. Be aggressive, set the tone, be like, hey, listen, this is what you're going to get in the second half, so find something really quickly you can go to.
That's going to wrap up the first half here, and now we join Kevin with the halftime update.
All right, guys, looks like we've got a great one in South Bend going on. And there is no better place to start this halftime than by reviewing how this wideout has been a one-man wrecking crew. The kid's been everywhere, and I love how he's willing to go across the middle, but that he also has the Jets to burn these DBs on the deep ball. If this defense wants to actually come back in this one, they better hide his cleats. With that said, let's send it back to the fellas there in the shadows of touchdown Jesus.
And the Canes will kick it away to crank up the second half. On the move from inside his 5. Able to find enough room to get it out across the 25. He's brought down at the 26. Notre Dame has the ball and ready to get moving. And in a low-scoring game like this one, David, every possession is magnified.
And I think more than anything, it just gets frustrating. And you got to put that behind you. You got to see what this defense has been doing to be so successful. Caller, now use it against them.
Yeah, David, I think for a play caller, this is tough, right? It's like you have to have the perfect play on just to get a first down. In these types of games, I think you're just trying to get guys out in space, see if a dude can break a tackle. Maybe that generates an explosive play, and it breaks this trend.
Notre Dame right back to the line.
Yeah, and you see some quarterbacks who hesitate to throw the ball in the middle. I love it when you attack the whole field. And the middle of the field and being able to throw over linebackers and between safeties is a big skill. But show that defense. You will attack everything.
Good spot after that 7-yard pickup on first down. It's 2nd and 3. Looking for space. It's Love. He makes the tackle at the 37. It's a pickup of 5. That's good enough for a first down. Pre-snap motion quarterback trying to get a read. He looks that one in nicely.
This quarterback right now is in a groove, and he's doing a nice job in pre-snap. He's reading the coverage, and he's getting an idea of where he wants to go with the football. That's why the ball's coming out of his hands so quickly, and that's why he seems like he's in a great rhythm right now.
And he gets it out past the sticks, and Notre Dame will have a first down. Here's this offense with a fresh set of downs. He'll come out throwing on first down. Setting up the screen. Didn't have much room to run and not a whole lot of help. Short gain there. Still plenty of ground to cover for the first down. From the gun, they'll try to impose their will. Brought down after a pickup of 2 to the 19. Notre Dame now operating in the red zone. In the gun, looking to throw on third down. Pass rush coming after the quarterback, and they get him at the 32.
And there's no mystery as to why this team's losing today. They've given up 5 sacks. They cannot keep their quarterback upright. And you just saw another example of it right there. He has never been able to get into rhythm throwing the football.
Never a doubt for this big-footed guy. 49-yard field goal is good. And we're all square as he's set to kick it away. He'll start the return inside his 5. He was looking for some running room, but not much to be found as he stopped at the 18. And here comes that Miami offense back onto the field. The sledding has been tough. Scores have been at a premium, Jesse, and every possession seems like it could switch the momentum of the game.
Yeah, Reese, for this offense, just feels like they just haven't been as physical. For this offensive coordinator, David, he's having to go deep into the playbook just to try to generate a first down.
Well, and the good thing is there's not a ton of game pressure because the other side's not scoring either. But if you can find that one thing get that one positive play, and then maybe you get those juices going and something can start to build.
Off the deflection, missed a great chance to force the turnover. Instead, it'll be second down. Couldn't make the connection last time. Let's see if they throw it again. Hand off from the shotgun. Knocked down after getting 6 all the way out to the 34-yard line. It's third down from their own 34 as they try to keep the drive moving. From the gun, wants to pass. And the defense is all over the quarterback, and down he goes.
That's a good example there of complementary defense. The DBs and linebackers are playing zone, they're playing their spaces, and they force the QB to have to hold the ball, try to work through his progressions, and then the pass rush, they win up front.
The Hurricanes will punt this one away. He'll try to really get into this one. He'll bring it back. It's Love. He's brought down, but a really solid effort to pick up every bit of yardage he put on the punt return. Here come the Irish back on offense. From the gun, the running back looking for room. And he does a really nice job finding open space and making a good gain before the stop is made. They'll ride the running back and leave it with him. And that'll be enough to give Notre Dame a first down. Here's this offense with a fresh set of downs. They'll throw it on first down. It's on target and complete. They make the stop right there. Good pickup. It's still short of the first down. On second down, wants to throw it. Fires to the tight end. And the defense makes the immediate tackle, but he has enough for the first down. Gonna run it. It's Love. He's dropped behind the line of scrimmage. That'll be a loss of 3. Last play was a near disaster. Now dealing with 2nd and 13. The pull and throw off the RPO. And a good job in coverage there as they stop it after just a few.
Great effort by the defense here. Offense trying to go wide receiver screen. How about the speed on defense rounding to the football?
Coming to the line of scrimmage at the 30. It would be a long field goal, but they'd love to pick up a few here on 3rd and long. And that's incomplete. A defender all over him. Knocked the ball to the ground. 4th down coming up. And now on 4th down, they'll try a field goal. He's got it. Showing off that big leg from 47 yards out. After putting up the field goal, they're set to kick it away. Here he comes from inside his own 5. Really disciplined job by the coverage unit to get down there and make the stop at the 19. They'll be able to get off one more play before quarter's end. The give to the back. Defense makes the tackle, and that will probably be the final play of the 3rd quarter. Guys, we've come to the end of the quarter, and Notre Dame has the lead. They're sitting in a strong position here with the lead. Let's take a look at our game summary. When you're dealing with a deficit like this, it's all about somebody stepping up to make a play, and you might as well start here in the 4th quarter. Looking for room, it's Allen. They bring him down, and he's going to lose a yard on that one. Here comes this home crowd as the defense tries to get off the field on 3rd down. Quarterback floating away from pressure. He felt the heat trying to get away, but down he goes. He'll lose a yard or 2. How frustrating for an offense to not only see the extra defensive back with the dime package, but still have their quarterback get hit.
Yeah, when you go down, this is a passing situation. And if you're a defensive lineman, I'm pinning my ears back. I'm not playing the slightest bit of run. I don't care if they run the football. I'm getting to the quarterback. Nice job understanding that, rushing the quarterback, getting him on the ground.
On the return, it's Love. Looking for running room, he'll get it to the 43-yard line before he's stopped. Notre Dame has the ball and ready to get moving. Guys, that last trip, a little disappointing having to take the 3.
Yeah, and I think, Jesse, you see so many offenses talk about getting yards and the tempo and all the stuff they do. It was a nice job moving the football, but they got to get in the end zone this time.
Yeah, and I think to do that, they just got to be more physical at the point of attack, get some push up front. They need to be the best running team in this game to win.
And he's knocked down, but not before moving the chains. Now a first down from the 45-yard line. He wants to throw. Fires to the big fella. At the 35, he's loose. They make the stop, but the sweet throw and catch is plenty to give him a first down. Looking to move it through the air. Fires deep toward the end zone. And swatted down by the defense to stop the scoring opportunity. Here comes the offense on second down. They'll keep it on the ground, trying to milk the clock. Powers forward, but stopped after a pickup of 2 to the 24. Ball's at the 24. A lot of confidence in their kicker from here, but they'd love to take it off of his foot and convert the first down. Unloads to the wideout. Can't make the connection on third down thanks to that tough, hard-nosed pass defense, and now it's fourth down. So on fourth down, here comes the field goal kicker in a huge spot. He splits the uprights and puts 3 on the board. So after putting 3 on the board, the kickoff team is out there ready to boot it away. And he'll just take a knee, and this drive will start at the 25. Here comes the Hurricane offense looking to gather a little more strength. Last time, David, it was 1-2-3 kick.
The last drive, that 3 and out, sometimes that puts your defense in a bad spot. You got to get a drive together here so you don't wear the defense out.
I just think, David, too predictable, that last drive. They got to do something here to get this defense on their heels.
This time it's complete. That one could really put this drive into high gear as they have a first down at the 37. He's looking to throw it. He's there to make the stop, and they threw it in reverse, losing yardage on that play. After not getting a thing done on first down, it's second and long from the 24. And he got smacked just as he released the pass. It's incomplete. Decibels rising as the crowd gets behind this defense on third down. Pocket starts to collapse. Looking for a huge play. And it slips through his fingers, incomplete. That would have been a huge gain if he could have squeezed it. On fourth down, they're taking to the air. He's not afraid to go deep. Incomplete on fourth down, and man, did they need to keep that drive alive. This game is so close to being salted away if the offense can just run out the clock. And they drag him down, but not before he picks up the first down. We have arrived at the 2-minute warning, a one-possession game as this offense tries to hold on. They're going to go right back to him on first down. That play just never had a chance. They knock him down for a loss of 5. They'll use a timeout here. You have to be certain at this point in the game. They'll go to the ground. And this one will be stopped for no gain. Timeout called there by the defense, desperate to get the ball back and save as much time as possible. They line up with some serious work to do if they want to convert this one. Handoff to the single back. And sure, tackling there to keep him from getting to the first down marker. Defense uses a timeout quickly, trying to get that ball back and preserve time for their offense. And now on fourth down, they will put it on the shoulders of the kicker to save them with his foot.
You know, it's funny, in an age where there's so many college football analytics and everybody wants to go for it on fourth down, at the end of the day, it still comes down to managing. Good decision by the head coach here in the fourth quarter. By kicking that field goal, you've now made it a two-possession game. Your chances of winning this thing have now gone way up.
So after the last drive ended with a field goal, the kickoff team out there to send it away. He'll bring it back from inside his 5. Really disciplined job by the coverage unit to get down there and make the stop at the 19. And here comes that Miami offense back onto the field. He's taking a deep shot. And the pass is incomplete, but the flag flies, and there was a lot of early contact there. The defense trying to be physical in pass coverage took it a little too far, and the offense will pick up the first down. They're going to open this drive with a pass. On target to the left. He was off to the races and maybe another step or two and he would have scored, but they get him at the 21-yard line. Comes out throwing on first down. And this will be incomplete. A big hit there forces second down. Couldn't make the connection last time. Let's see if they throw it again. Dialing up a second down pass play. Grabbed in the middle. It's Williams. He'll get it all the way down to the 8-yard line, and the defense is feeling the heat. He wants to throw it again. Caught in the backfield. It's Allen. And they'll shove him out of bounds after the short gain. They've got it down to the 3. Now it's second and goal. He's looking to throw. Fires into the end zone. And it's caught for the late touchdown. So how about this? Maybe we are set up for a finish.
Yeah, and that's step one. Great job by this offense getting in the end zone. Now you got to go get the stop. You got to get the football back. You got to find a way to do something to create a turnover, get an onside, to get the football back, to get back in this football game.
Now they'll line up for what they hope is automatic. And the PAT will draw them 1 point closer. And let's check in with Kevin Connors in the studio. Kevin?
All right, guys, a little update on what else is happening in college football this weekend. Maryland is in trouble right now, and unless something changes, this is the type of day that can crush morale. They're trailing by 21 to Virginia Tech.
Happy with the situation, the quarterback will take a knee.
We'll circle back if anything big happens you need to know about.
And how about that one? Kevin will be keeping an eye on everything going on elsewhere. You're going to hear guys after this game say, got to work harder, got to be more intense. You know, sometimes the harder you try, the worse it gets. And it seemed to me that's what happened out there today.
Yeah, just never really got into a rhythm for this team. There's no doubt they've got a lot of very talented players on both sides of the ball. So, David, I don't think this is a situation where they need to now freak out and try to reinvent things on either side of the football. Just being in better rhythm early and trying to find that in their next game, I think would go a long way.
Yeah, and it's just finding a couple of those plays. What do I do really, really well? Let's continue to build on that. Let's take away these negative plays. Let's take away these turnovers. How do we create more turnovers? I think that rhythm you're talking about, Jesse, finding those things that I do well, building on them, and doing more of them.
That's going to do it for us. For Jesse Palmer, David Pollack, our entire broadcast team, I'm Reese Davis. This has been another presentation of EA Sports College Football.